A mighty impressive win in the first T20I for India against New Zealand gives them a 1-0 lead in the series. Action continues quickly at Eden Park in Auckland for the second T20I. Let's look ahead to that game with 5 things to watch out for on ESPN Cricinfo Matchday with Sanjay Bangar. So I've got the former India batting coach and the former India all-rounder with me. He's going to have a lot of questions to answer on batting at these Eden Park and Auckland type grounds in New Zealand. Let's start with number 5, shall we? And that is, how can India keep Munro and Martin Guptill quiet? Let's get into that conversation first. You look at the numbers first, and the record for Colin Munro and Martin Guptill, who gave New Zealand a very good start in the last game, 80 inside the first 8 overs, and it's pretty good. You have Colin Munro striking at nearly 200. It's as good a striker as you can expect from an opener in T20 cricket. Martin Guptill, not bad as well, striking at almost 180. That is in Auckland. And then if we go to the best run rate for T20I openers, and you look at Guptill and Munro right up there. In fact, Martin Guptill featuring twice. So he's carried on the form that he enjoyed with Brendan McCullum. And this new partnership too is blossoming for the New Zealand at the top. So that's what we've got for India. Conversation that perhaps they need to have on how to stop and how to bowl to Guptill and Munro. But there also comes into a factor, point number 4, is how do teams actually bowl at Eden Park? I mean, you look at that ground, you saw fielders in awkward positions. You saw India trying different things with the ball even early on, and when Guptill and Munro were taking them to the cleaners. And you look at the dimensions of this ground. I'm very curious to know from Sanjay Bangar, who's seen this ground quite closely and part of the team management as well. You look at those boundaries and those shortish, awkward boundaries, Sanjay. You look at the type of batsmen Munro, Guptill are. How do you actually bowl at a ground like Eden Park?
What generally you tend to do is that you obviously get your third man fine leg as well as long on, long off when the spinners are bowling very, very straight. So it also helps that you cut down the angles really well, wherein your straight shots are actually minimized, and then you force the batters to score square of the wicket. But from a bowling perspective, it's very important that always have that surprise element to your bowling plans, because no matter, even if the straight boundaries are very, very short, you actually don't really take the Yorker out of the game straight away. Because if you are only telling the batters that, okay, we are going to bowl short of a length or slowish bouncers, then you're asking for trouble, because the batsman will set it up very, very nicely, taking into account the field positions.
We know that India have the bowlers that can execute Yorkers. You've got Jasprit Bumrah, and we're hoping that he's fit for this game. So too Mohammed Shah. But could the surprise element come in the form of Navdeep Saini? That takes us to point number 3. Will India play Navdeep Saini ahead of Shardul Thakur? Just looking at their T20I record, still early days, so we'll give them a little margin. But Saini started really well, Sanjay. An average of 16, economy of 7. There seems to be something about him. I know it's a hard place to bowl, but would you be tempted to play Navdeep Saini ahead of Shardul?
Yeah, I'll be keen to see whether Jasprit Bumrah is fit and available for selection, because he limped off in the last over or probably had an ankle issue.
Yeah.
But apart from that, important to have somebody like a Saini play a lot more. Shardul Thakur relies a lot on slower deliveries. He has number of slower ball variations, but you require to have that sort of a pace, control over Yorker, as also the capacity to hurry the batsman on the short ball. So Saini gives you that option wherein he can bowl at all 3 phases of the game, and particularly at such a venue where you require a good short ball or a good Yorker to surprise the batsman.
Now it's about getting your batting order right as well, and getting the right man at the right phase. That takes us to point number 2. From New Zealand's perspective, is Ross Taylor the sort of form that we've seen he's in the first T20I? Batting a bit too low for them, an unbeaten 54 from 27 balls. He gave the innings the impetus it needed towards the end, even though he didn't have much support as wickets fell at the other end for Ross Taylor. But we're just looking at the numbers at 5 and 6 for Ross Taylor versus Colin de Grandin at number 4. And we're trying to figure whether it's a good call to move Taylor up. Now, is he suited to a role that New Zealand have given him, Sanjay, or would you still want Ross Taylor batting higher?
I see from a distance, it seems that there could be a bit of a flexibility in the batting order, wherein if they get off to a good start, maybe past 10 overs, they would want Colin de Grandin to be, shifted up the order to take charge against the spinners. You shouldn't really look after the big shots. big shots will take care of themselves, but the strike rotation is actually very, very important, even in the T20 format.
Now, if you move to our number 1 point, will Manish Pandey continue to keep Rishabh Pant out? That's our number 1 talking point. Just look at the numbers. If we compare them purely batsman for batsman, and you know the kind of talent Rishabh Pant possesses, you've got significant evidence of it in the IPL. In T20I cricket, Pant now has 25 innings, Pandey 29, so similar sort of numbers, but the average is 42. Pandey's in fact enjoyed 14 not outs compared to 5 for Pant. Now, he's not done an awful wrong, Manish Pandey, but it was an interesting call to go with Rahul the keeper and leave out Rishabh Pant. Do you see that changing? Would you like to see that change?
Well, I think by all indications, whatever you are reading, it seems that the team management is actually tilting towards KL Rahul in the T20 format. But, things can change pretty quickly. It also means that, somebody like Rishabh Pant, who was getting to play a lot because of his right-left combination thing in the middle order. So now with the team management actually playing two all-rounders in Shivam Dube and Ravindra Jadeja, they still have that left-hand batting option.
Sure.
So I feel that taking into account all these things which are happening around the team, I feel Rishabh Pant will have to wait till the point Hardik Pandya comes into the team, so that that left-handed novelty of his actually helps him get back into the team.
All right, Sanjay Bangar, thank you very much. It was a thrilling first game at Auckland. Let's hope we have an equally entertaining second one, which is of course at Eden Park on Sunday.